Joe Rogan is an extremely successful podcast host, UFO enthusiast, and MMA commentator who relocated to the wonderful state of Texas from California. He traded in his smaller 7,600 square foot home in the Golden State for a $14.4 million, 10,980 square foot, 8-bedroom estate in Austin, Texas. Although that is nearly 4 times as expensive as his last residence, Rogan has the money available. The podcast king inked an exclusive deal worth $100 million with Spotify in May 2020. Moving to Austin saved him millions in taxes. For quite some time, Rogan has complained about the state of California, pointing to its high taxes, liberal laws, and the overpopulation and homelessness issues in Los Angeles in particular. In July 2020, he initially announced he would be relocating on his podcast. He didn't specify where, but he hinted that he would move to a smaller city. Austin has 964,000 residents, which isn't particularly small but is less than Los Angeles, which has a population of 4 million. Rogan is now residing in an area of Austin with a population of around 8,800 people. The 2006-built Lake Austin residence was formerly a Tuscan-style McMansion that was advertised for $7.2 million in 2015. Variety reports that the property was also owned by designer Benjamin Wood, who helped to turn it into a contemporary mansion with Asian influences. Shiplap has been utilized to cover the entry's former beige plaster walls. There is also a ton of old Eastern furniture, which is exactly Rogan's style. If we didn't know any better, we'd swear this house was built just for him. The dining table, living room, and library all share one area in the newly remodeled interior, which has an open floor plan. The ceiling and walls are painted a rich, designer blue. The bar has been embedded into the floor on a raised platform and is constructed from this wonderful, sturdy-looking wood. It's unclear if Rogan has switched out the booze in the cabinet for a showcase of designer marijuana and DMT. After all, he has been known to take DMT 3 times in one day and is a well-known cannabis connoisseur. Elk meat may be prepared in the kitchen with ease. It has recessed lighting, 2 kitchen islands with pull-up seats, and rustic farmhouse-style light fixtures. It's interesting to note how closely the kitchen islands mirror one another. The dining area and kitchen are crowned by a sizable contemporary fireplace that is flanked by antique cupboards. A large farmhouse-style table with 2 wide rectangles for legs and a set of striking dining chairs are used to embellish the dining area. Rogan, his wife Jessica, their 3 children, and 3 additional podcast guests can all fit at the huge table. Mid-century contemporary glass walls that extend from floor to ceiling have been installed in the home's back. Rogan doesn't have enough area to hunt elk on the 4 acres of the property, but it does have a beautiful rolling lawn with Lake Austin in the background. The house has a rustic character that is in keeping with its surroundings thanks to rustic timber pillars and an exposed wooden ceiling. Rogan has previously talked about moving to where he can have a little bit more freedom, but if he was able to fully benefit from the state's zero income tax, he would have saved $13 million in tax just on the $100 million Spotify deal alone, as the 13.3% income tax in California would have cost him $13.3 million. He would have also benefited from significantly reduced property taxes and no HOA fees. The entire living room space in the back of the house now functions as a sunroom thanks to the recent glassy renovations. For the neighborhood, which has a median listing price of over $1.2 million, the house is incredibly expensive. The dining room and 1 seating area are separated by a glass window. There are numerous areas to sit and indulge in some DMT, discuss aliens, or smoke some medicinal marijuana. Although Texas has stricter drug laws than California, it seems unlikely that police would show up at Rogan's new house to conduct a raid. At night, the house lights up like a Christmas tree. The wonderfully peaceful water from Austin Lake is the only thing in the back though, as there are no neighbors. There are slopes of undeveloped woods beyond that. A base for the outdoor deck is provided by substantial concrete walls, which also give the family privacy. It wouldn't be Rogan's house if there wasn't a gym. Rogan hired Sorinex, a manufacturer of weights, racks, and high-end machines, to put up his private gym. You can easily find Rogan's diet and exercise plan online and on YouTube if you're interested. 2 plain seats and a wooden statue may be found on the mezzanine that looks down towards the entrance. The Buddha heads and other Eastern sculptures seen around the home don't resemble this one. Nevertheless, it goes in perfectly with Rogan's surroundings. An example would be this enormous Buddha statue from Rogan's collection. "This is my big one. I've never weighed it, but it's definitely a few hundred pounds," Rogan wrote on his Instagram. "It's the weirdest impulse purchase I've ever made, but I was high as fuck at the time and it reminded me so much of the Buddhas from my psychedelic experience I felt like I had to have it in my life." Rogan can retreat to his master bedroom after a hard day of debating whether or not a race of underground people existed millions of years before us, with Aerosmith vocalist Steven Tyler. The bed is nestled in a big, custom-built wooden frame, an uncommon yet remarkable architectural feature. The same shiplap walling utilized downstairs is visible in a detail of the master bedroom entryway. In Rogan's new bathroom, there is a spacious shower that resembles a wall of frosted glass and a beautiful standalone soaking tub. The marble-topped vanity exudes a 1950s air and is situated in front of a marble wall with a striking geometric backsplash. The near-ceiling paneled windows, chandelier, and pendant lighting all provide adequate lighting. A sitting space is located off the master bathroom and is furnished with wicker couches and stained glass ornamental panels. There is a nook that has been turned into a tiny office space and is furnished with bird wallpaper and birdcage. Although it won't be Rogan's primary workspace, it is modest enough for one of his kids. A full-size outdoor dining table, outdoor sofas and chairs, a birdhouse, and wonderful views of Lake Austin can all be found on the back porch. There is a party deck in addition to the 2 boat slips on the property. Rogan is no stranger to fishing. He has even gone ice fishing in Utah, and there are plenty of bass in this reservoir to capture. Numerous trees provide shade for the in-ground pool and lounge area, which also has a patio made of masonry with grass growing in the gaps. There are 2 of these water troughs on the property, which, though primarily aesthetic, can serve as a dog watering hole. Although he can see his neighbors, the house is not completely isolated and has a double lot with 300 feet of water frontage. This room will be familiar to everyone who has been watching Rogan's podcast episodes. It was made especially for Rogan sometime in the early months of 2020. There is a home, a carriage house, and 2 adjacent garages on the site, but we're not sure exactly where the official JRE Studios podcast room is located. Is this where Rogan will spend the rest of his days? It is certainly possible. Let us know in the comments what you think. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done it already, please tap that like button and hit subscribe, as we really appreciate it and it helps us to bring out more content that we know you enjoy. Thank you for watching Luxury Living.